Marwa Jibril is a Darfuri human rights activist and a member of the Sudanese Doctors Union here in the UK. She joins me in the studio. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
At Al Jazeera. I guess it is a step in the right direction. It is good news, at least the two sides are going to start talking again. How do you welcome this news?
I would say that I welcome any progression in the peaceful transformation of power in Sudan to a civil rule. However, I would like to see guarantees that there will be no further delays and manipulation by the Transitional Military Council. So it is a step toward the right direction, but we would like to see how that's, the process will continue.
And you think it was the strike that led to this?
I think definitely it was a very successful strike for 3 days. We see how that was very popular, and the Sudanese people responded to it, and it did exert huge pressure on the Transitional Military Council, and this is why they agreed to. I think that this is a sign of the progression, as a result of the civil disobedience and the strike.
OK, so, I mean, there is progression, as you say. The two sides will go back to the negotiating table with Ethiopian mediation. But, of course, the protesters are now in a weakened position compared to a few weeks ago. So what things will you be looking for over the next few days?
Well, I would say what happened from my understanding, because there is no press release by the Sudanese Professional Association or the Transitional Military Council about what agreement thus far. But my understanding is these talks through the mediator is to allow the Ethiopian mediation to continue. I don't necessarily agree that the protesters are in a weaker position. I think we are, as a Sudanese people, rather in a more stronger position in terms of forcing our demands toward transition to a civil rule. So this is our first demand, and of course all the demands follows in terms of releasing all prisoners, as well as we want the brutal attacks on civilians in Khartoum, in Darfur, because this continues as we speak. We know that there is still attacks in Darfur, in different villages by the paramilitias. So those are at the top of the agenda, that these need to be to stop before any further progression in the process.
You speak to family and friends back in Sudan on a daily basis, both in Khartoum and Darfur. What are they telling you? And also, how do you see their state of mind as right now?
Well, I would say, of course, people are very worried and concerned about their safety. There is attacks regularly on civilians in the streets, looting. Women are, and men as well, are, of course, worried about and concerned about rape cases that they hear, and it's been confirmed. But I think they still, all the Sudanese people remain very resilient. They are clearly say that they will not succumb to all the brutal attacks and manipulation by the Transitional Military Council, and they will struggle. We will continue our struggle toward democratic, free Sudan.
Marwa Jibril, the Darfuri Sudanese human rights activist and a member of the Sudan Doctors Union here in the UK. Madam, thank you so much for sharing your views with us.
Thank you for having me.